Slow, fat, wide, big wings. I guess you could sort of compare it to today's Time Attack, but the V8 versions for the majority of the cars that we all know of the sports sedans. They're all big, loud V8, and yeah, just super aggressive. Clem was a local South Australian motorsport celebrity. He owned the Malala racetrack just outside of Adelaide here. His passion was sports sedans, along with a lot of other things over his years as well. So this sports sedan we're looking at here, Clem's owned and had built from day one. So it's probably one of the true one-owner cars now, obviously now onto its second owner. But yeah, it's stayed very, very traditional. It's had a few accidents over the years, nothing severe, but it's still stayed very true to form as to what it was in the days. It's still got the same engine, it's still the same structure, still the same skeleton and backbone. Just had a few updates with the bodies over the years as the rules have changed. A few years ago, Clem passed away and a lot of his stuff has been sold. Family kept some parts and then a lot of his car collection and the racetrack all sold. For the sports sedan community here in South Australia, the Charger behind us it's iconic here for Malala in South Australia. So another local sports sedan fanatic, I guess we'll call him. Simon Fitzner bought the car from the auction. So to him, it's a car that he's grown up with, and it's been part of him and part of what Malala is and sports sedans are. So it was just an easy fit for Simon. So we've been given the car to take back to an era, back in around the 84, 85 GT era for the sports sedans. So it's big wings, as you can see by this car, big rear wing, big front spoiler, pumped guards, big rear wheels. It's all about impact. And yeah, so from what the car was when it got here to today, it's just amazing to see it back in its biggest, most wild, aggressive form. 6 weeks ago we were given the car as it came from Clem, where it had sat in its stage for quite a few years. Admittedly, it was a bit unloved, it looked a bit flat and sad. We've basically handmade the front spoiler again, made a mould so we can reproduce the parts. They do get damaged a lot. The rear wing profile, we've changed the rear wing, made the big sides to give it the look that it used to have. We've changed the wheels, we've gone up to the bigger diameter wheels, more of the period that it had. We've modified the front wheel arches, or the front guards. We've split them and widened them so there's actually a vent now down the side. Obviously a full respray, new glass all round, and just a lot of detail, bringing it back to a brand new sort of car. The interior we haven't touched other than clean it, polish it, put it back together. We've tried to not change a lot of the stuff that doesn't need to be changed. The original gauges and shifter still uses the original key and ignition barrel out of the Charger from back in the day. The cam stickers go back to the 70s, and I think the last CAMS race sticker on it was 86 or 87, where it sort of did its last sort of competition under CAMS meetings. There's probably later ones there if we actually looked hard, but just little things like the CAMS approval and the scrutineer stickers just prove its provenance and its history and its, how long it's been around for. It's a VJ VH Charger, so it's sort of the early 70s. It runs a 358 cube Dodge NASCAR engine, mechanical injection, Hewland transaxle, so there's no gearbox, everything's done at the rear of the car, so it's a diff gearbox in one. All uprights and independent rear suspension. It's got inboard front suspension, which is really, really cool sort of setup there. Big BBS wheels all round, full chassis car, monster wing, monster front spoiler, all of that sort of stuff. We've now just had today, the stickers have all basically been finished. We've still got a couple more to go onto the car, the windscreen banner and one across the back of the car. That's all been done by the guys out at Infinity Signs. They've done a great job. So we've had to work from photos from back in the day, which is really hard to distinguish and get close-ups of, to get similar sort of fonts and style and the wording and all that stuff right, just so we can have it as close to as it was in the day. The reason for all of this is we've got the Malala historic race meeting coming up, the Anzac Day weekend, which is Clem's favourite race, and he always had the car out there, always on display. If the car could do a parade lap before the race, he would go out there and drive the car around. So it's a bit of a tribute to have the car finish back to this stage for this event. It's a really important, nostalgic sort of thing. There's a lot of the original staff out at Malala that are still there that were with Clem. So none of them have actually seen the car or know what's happening to it currently. So when they see the car next week for the first time, I think it'll really blow a lot of their minds.